Hello fellow Star Wars fans, it is Starrapter here. Welcome to the channel. This is my spoiler-free review for Star Wars Queen's Hope, written by E.K. Johnston. This is part of the Queen Trilogy of Padme Amidala. This one isn't coming out though until April 5th, but you can pre-order this wherever books are sold. I want to thank the people over at Disney Lucasfilm Press for providing me with an advanced review copy. So diving in, this book takes place basically a week or so after the events of the Battle of Geonosis in Attack of the Clones, and the galaxy is now plunged into the Clone Wars. So this story is the first piece of chronological content, to my understanding, of the Clone Wars. This is the first kind of story we get during the Clone Wars in canon. So we have different character perspectives. We have Sabe, who is the Queen's double. We have Padme, obviously. We have a little bit of part there for Anakin Skywalker. And it's all this juggling act of how Padme is trying to keep it under wraps that Anakin and her are married. And we have this whole thing about Sabe having to actually pretend to be Senator Amidala, which she's not used to, in Coruscant, while Padme goes on a little side mission. And that's really as far as I can get into, not because of spoilers, but because of that is how the story is. It's relatively shallow in my opinion, and I feel like there's just a lot of issues with this book in general. I wasn't a fan of Queen's Peril, and Queen's Shadow was fine now that I look back at it, but this book, it doesn't even get near Queen's Peril in my opinion. I will start off with the good before I get into too many negative thoughts here on this story. First off is, yes, again, this is the first kind of piece of Star Wars content where we're getting those first reactions of the Clone Wars around the galaxy. We're getting the reactions of the senators, we're getting the reactions of the handmaidens, and all these interconnected pieces with the politics, the Senate, and all that going on there. I thought that was pretty good as far as everybody reacting to what's going on with the galaxy. The thing that was most interesting to me in this entire book is such a side story that doesn't really evolve a whole lot, but it does shed some light on some legacy Star Wars characters and gives them a little bit more backstory, which is interesting because the main character of this book, Padme, as well as Sabe, really don't get much to do in terms of development. So that is a little bit strange there right away. I will say there's no hook in this story. And I'm going to get into my negatives now. There's no hook in this story. This story is very short, by the way. It's a young adult novel that comes in just under 300 pages. So that's pretty short for that young adult standard, where they're usually 400 to 500 pages. And I feel like there really needed to be more to flesh out. But the thing is, there wasn't a hook for me. There wasn't that element of the plot that was cliffhanger after cliffhanger where I had to keep reading. I was just doing the reading at a pace to get through it. And for me to take a week to read a book, for me that there's something a little bit slow about the book. So yes, the pacing, there was no real hook for the story. I was kind of having trouble understanding what is the point of this book, right? Yes, we're seeing Sabe kind of change. We're seeing Padme with this different outlook on life, but we've already seen her as a senator in the Queen's Shadow book, right? And we've seen that happen already. So it's what is the point of this story? There's really not a whole lot of action at all. And I'm surprised because, hey, Star Wars, there's got to be action. There was one little tiny scene, but I feel like there needed to be way more than that. Padme, right? She's a senator, but she gets into the thick of it as far as action is concerned. We've seen Attack of the Clones, aggressive negotiations. We've seen so many episodes of the Clone Wars where she's going around doing some cool things, and while we get a little bit of that, I just feel like there was way too much time spent on a ship and just, talking via holocom. That was just not really engaging for me as somebody that's trying to consume Padme content for a character Padme that has been done dirty, if I'm being honest, in Revenge of the Sith. I want to see more Padme, and the story just didn't sell Padme to me as a character in the story that was really something that I was rooting for. There's some chapter issues. We have this one character named Sachi. She's part of the Naboo legislation, and man, oh man, did those chapters really drag. If you guys really didn't like the politics in the Phantom Menace, then oh man, this is going to be rough for you to get through, because I found myself just reading this and just really being uninterested in what's happening. The one thing that gets interesting has to do with the whole reason why Padme actually leaves the core to go to the Outer Rim and has Sabe step in to be her double in the Senate. that whole storyline never gets resolved. It's something that's super interesting with what's happening with some of the villains in the Separatists, and it could turn the tide of war, and it's just put on the back burner, and it's addressed in a way that just seems like, oh, there's going to be more stories to come, but we never get any proper resolution for what could be a monumentous thing in the Clone Wars. So I thought that was absolutely crazy, and just from the story perspective of why set this up and just not follow through with it. I think it's an interesting idea to be able to leave it off like that. And again, here we go, another instance of having a curse word put into Star Wars and not even trying to hide. Like last time we had something like shit, and now we just have plain shit said in Star Wars. They're not even trying to hide it like it's bullshit or anything like that. They just say shit, like, okay, what's next, right? So I'm just concerned about just our earthy language in Star Wars, but when they're starting to use curse words and they're not even trying to kind of be creative with the uses of the words, and now they're just being like earth talk, it's just really seems disingenuous for me. As you can tell, I'm just not happy with this book. This to me, honestly, guys, is probably one of the worst Star Wars books in the canon. I hate to say it, but my feelings towards it are just, there's not a lot of good stuff that came out of this. Not a lot of stuff that said, okay, what was the point? The point of this was to see Padme at a different point in the Clone Wars to get another cool Padme adventure, and I feel like it could have been done better for many reasons, for many different points, right? And I'm not a writer by any means, but I'm somebody who reads for enjoyment. And when I could tell you that my enjoyment reading this book was on a relatively low level, then unfortunately I'm going to have to go ahead and give this a 5 out of 10 on my review score. There's a couple good things in here, but really when it comes down to it, I can't really recommend this book. Now again, is this book probably meant for a 31-year-old dude? Probably geared more toward women, right? But even with that, I feel like there's still not enough engagement. Yeah, there's lots of descriptions of dresses and stuff like that, which I thought was, for the subject, for the people, the demographic they're pushing this towards, great. But I just don't, even with that being said, I just feel like that it's going to be hard for anybody to engage with the story. And I really wish that this could have been done better because it's the last of the trilogy. The trilogy ended up interesting with the middle book being the first book. Then they went back, they did Queen's Peril, then E.K.Johnstons went into forward and went the Clone Wars. So she kind of did what, Star Wars Saga, the original trilogy prequels, and then we got the sequel. So it kind of ended up in that poetry with Star Wars, I guess, kind of coming full circle. But regardless of the fact, are you guys interested in finishing up the story of Padme in book form? I'm happy we got Padme books. I just wish they were a little bit better, if you're asking me. Let me know in the comment section down below. For more on Star Wars books and reviews, let me know what you want to see more of, and you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So that's gonna do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.